This morning, the two main protagonists in the presidential race, President Uhuru Kenyatta and NASA presidential flag bearer Raila Odinga, are this morning set to share a podium at a prayer meeting organized by the Evangelical Alliance of Kenya at Uhuru Park. The prayer meeting, whose focus is to pray for peace and democracy, coincides with the commemoration of the historic Saba Day. The organizers of the prayer rally will be seeking commitment to peace among the top political contenders in the August elections. Now, both leaders have previously committed to peaceful elections.
Na siku ya kushukuru kazi kubwa ambayo imefanywa na Mheshimiwa Rais vile na deputy wake.
I'm very happy and excited to have my brother Raila here with us on this day. Because at the end of the day, it shows we are all one people of one nation. Hakuna mtu atatoka Kenya, hakuna mtu atahama inchi.
Wangi joins us live from Uhuru Park. Murimi, good morning. What time are the prayers set to start?
Well, good morning, Sophia. The function is set to start as from 11. That's the communication that we got. But as you can see, a handful of people are already here for this very momentous occasion for the nation. Exactly 31 days to the August 8th elections and exactly 27 years since the historic Saba Day of 1990. And of course, whatever is going to be happening here today will be critical for the country going forward, because the church, as the key organizers of the function here, have been vouching for peace, and they will be seeking a commitment from the political class, of course, with representation from the two top presidential candidates here for peace and commitment to credible, free and fair August 8th elections. Sophia.
Right. In terms of attendance, the presidential candidates, do we expect to have them all there today?
Well, the communication that we got from the organizers from the Evangelical Alliance of Kenya is that they had sent the invitations to all the candidates that are contesting the presidency. That, of course, to include President Uhuru Kenyatta, as well as NASA's candidate, former Prime Minister Raila Odinga. But most importantly, Raila has said that he will be attending the function as part of his commitment to the prayers in the run-up to what he calls the transformation to Nane Nane, that of course reflecting the August 8th elections, when he says that he is keen to win the elections that of course unseat President Uhuru Kenyatta. President Uhuru Kenyatta has also in the past indicated that he is committed to free and fair, credible elections, and commitment to peace is part of what the church will be seeking from the candidates here, the political players, even as they pray for the nation ahead of the elections. Sophia.
Murimi, I don't know if you've had occasion to speak to some of those gathered at Uhuru Park. I can see very few of them behind you. But if you have, what are they saying about the lead up to the elections? There are in some quarters fears of violence breaking out following the elections. And also the role really these prayers play in this kind of a season and a time political landscape. Do these politicians take this seriously, even with their commitments to peace?
Well, the clergymen that I have been able to speak to say that Kenya is in the proverbial Jonah moment, and that the prayers that will be happening here is part of the redemption of Kenya to get it to Nineveh in the August 8th elections. But of course, for the Kenyans that are here, they say that they are committed to turn out and vote in the August 8th elections, and they challenge the institutions that are tasked to ensure that the elections are free and fair, that from the electoral agency, IEBC, to the police force, and the candidates that will be contesting, to ensure that that happens smoothly and in a peaceful manner. Of course, remember, the Interior Ministry has in the past earmarked areas that they say are potential hotspots for chaos in the August 8th elections. That, of course, on the basis of some very hotly contested elections for key elective slots, right from, in some instances, the MCA seats to the gubernatorial seat, as well as the presidential seat. And of course, it will be an important moment for the church here to make a reflection, to, of course, look back and see the contribution that the church has made towards the August 8th elections. You remember on the eve of the Saba in 2014, Raila Odinga had just returned to Kenya from Boston, where he had been for 3 months, and that's when he announced what he called the calls for a dialogue. And that was what culminated in the demonstrations that were witnessed in the streets of Nairobi and other parts of Kenya as he and the now defunct Coalition for Reforms and Democracy called for the exit of the Isaac Hassan-led team of IEBC commissioners. You remember that the clergy played a critical role in resolving that particular issue, culminating in the selection of the IEBC selection panel that had adequate representation from the clergy, that of course being 5 of the 9 members of that team. And with the crowning of Wafula Chebukati as the new IEBC chair, the church and by extension the clergy said that the country is ready to move on from the chaos that had been witnessed for close to a month as the back and forth between the government and the opposition over the exit of the former IEBC commissioners continued. And therefore, as they congregate here today to pray for the nation, 31 days to the election, they will also be seeking a commitment from the Wafula Chebukati-led team that the August 8th elections will be credible, free and fair, and of course that being the assurance that with the credibility of the elections, that the elections will be peaceful, which is what the church is pushing for. Sophia.
All right. Finally, before I let you go, Muremi, I don't know if you're able to do this with your cameraman. Perhaps to just show us the venue to get an idea, an indication of, are there more people than those I see behind you? Because the gathering there is wanting for such an important occasion. You don't appear to have the numbers.
Well, if my cameraman Biwot can just pan the camera,
yes,
to just
let's
get to see what is on the podium. He is doing that now.
Okay.
You can see the number is not so big, Sophia, so to speak. A few Kenyans have turned up for the exercise. But of course, from the invitation that had been sent by the Evangelical Alliance of Kenya, the function was to start as from 11. That perhaps could explain why the numbers are not so many. But remember, the opposition under the National Super Alliance will be holding a separate function at the historic Kamukunji grounds in the afternoon in commemoration of Saba, and that perhaps would explain why perhaps as a large number of their supporters would prefer to go there as opposed to this venue, because remember the Evangelical Alliance had indicated that the function happening here today would be devoid of politics, because to the church this is a prayer function ahead of the August elections. Just a few Kenyans standing up for this day here at Uhuru Park, as you can see on your screens from the pictures on your screens now. But we expect that perhaps more will be coming in as the day goes by. Sophia.
All right. Thank you so much. I see you there, Muremi Mwangi. And, of course, a good job with Biwot, keeping us posted on what's transpiring at Uhuru Park on the prayers that are set to kick off anytime from 11 a.m. today.